The tools for achieving your wellness goals are right outside your door. You just have to know where to look, and I'm here to help. I'm Missy, an East Texas Christian herbalist, here to share conversations about local plants, where to find them and what to do with them, local vendors, the area's top sources for natural health products, and local practitioners, the professionals you can trust to get to the root of whatever you face. Whether you're here to learn, connect, or live more in step with the land, you're in the right place. Welcome.
Hello, and thanks for joining us again on Grace Rooted Wellness. Today, I'm excited to visit with a very special guest. Let me introduce Wynn Worthen, Regional Manager of Granary Health Foods. Hi, Wynn. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you so much for having this podcast and bringing us on today. Really appreciate it.
I'm excited to visit. When I mention to people that I'm an herbalist, probably the most frequent question I hear is, what can I take for? And then they tell me the health issue. And then the follow-up question is almost always, where do I get it? And that's what we're here to talk about, how to figure that out. And by supplements, I mean any product that's taken to add nutrients to one's diet. And that could be vitamins or minerals or herbs or amino acids or enzymes or any combination of those things. And one of my biggest reasons for starting this podcast is I think most people I know, they want to find natural solutions for wellness. And it's just, there's so much information to weed through and so many choices, and it's overwhelming. And a lot of the time it's an immediate need that drives us to search. It's a chronic disease that flares up and we want to do something about it, or we have an acute illness and we just want it to go away. So we want to get something locally, but again, how do you choose? So what I'm really hoping that you can speak to today is, how can you figure out what supplements are supportive in the first place? And how do you figure out what form or what brand to choose? So one, how do I narrow down what to take? And two, how do I look at the options available and not just feel totally overwhelmed and frustrated? And I feel like you're uniquely qualified to speak to this because you actually grew up with parents who owned a health food store. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so the Granary was started back in 1991. My parents started, Perry and Nancy Worthen. They started in Gladewater, Texas, of all places, 600 square foot store. And they never really saw, I mean, what it is today, 35, this year is our 35th anniversary. They never would have guessed what it is today, having 11 stores, very big ones. 5,000 square feet is about the average of most of our stores. How it all started was is they just wanted, they didn't see, they lived in California for 2 years in the late 80s, and they really fell in love with Trader Joe's, honestly. They love Trader Joe's. A lot of people here do. And but there was nothing like that in the East Texas area. So they're from Big Sandy, but Big Sandy's not a very big town. You know, about 1,000 people, one stoplight. I grew up there, but Gladewater is the next closest with about 10,000 people, and so that's where they started. And my dad will tell you that they just sold food at first. There were no supplements. They liked supplements, but they didn't really understand it. They understood food, so that's what they started with because they had already done the bulk distribution at their house. My mom was the sorter. Like they would get the deliveries at my parents' house, and then they would sort for all the families that would come pick it up. And my mom's very organized like that, and getting everybody there because that's before cell phones. So and email, and it's just calling and figuring out what everybody wants and writing it all down. And so he'll tell you that he was there, and about a month or two in, somebody came in and they said, "Do you sell probiotics?" And he's like, "Probiotics? What is that? What are probiotics?" And he's like, "Well, they're good for your gut, good for your immune system, everything like that." And he's like, "Yeah, y'all don't have herbs, y'all don't have vitamins." And he's like, "Well, we're just the food. That's what granary means, is storehouse of food in the Bible. That's all it means, is storehouse of food." And so that's when they started looking into it, and they realized that herbs and everything really went together, because most people were either just an herb shop or like Trader Joe's is just food, really, right? So they started introducing that, and they actually moved that store to Longview in '94 to 1,200 square feet, which they thought they'd never fill up, 1,200 square feet. And then they opened a Tyler store in 1995 that was 1,500 square feet. And And then from there, we've grown to 11 locations throughout East Texas. We've been very blessed. We're closed weekends. We're firmly believe in family and having free time on the weekends, and our employees love it. That's why when you go to the Granary, it's a little bit different. You see the same employees every time. So we have a very low turnover rate, and we try to take care of our people. So that's been a huge value that we instill in everything that we do. But that's also the reason they started was value for pricing. So as everything they saw out there was overpriced. And so they said, hey, we don't have to have the 50% margin that everybody does. We can do it less if we just have, if my dad always says, if you keep your overhead low, keep your prices lower. That's like one of his big, like, just mottos. You know, if you're having to do all this other work and it's taking a lot of time and it costs more, it's not worth it. So that's what we don't. We don't advertise. We don't spend heavily in marketing. We try to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, when you walk into the Granary, that's about it. But also, when you walk in the Granary, you actually get help. If you ask for a question, we've had a lot of our staff has worked for us for 10 plus years. Not everyone, you know, everybody has different things that happen in their lives. At each location, there's at least someone that's worked there for 10 plus years, if not 20. And so their knowledge you build over that time. And if you ever think that you know it all, don't worry. Someone will walk in the next day with some new thing you've never heard of. And it happens all the time. Our industry changes a lot. Our industry changes a lot compared to most.
Yeah. Always something new coming out and new health conditions being discovered or understood differently. I mean, it's just kind of always evolving. No, I love that. I think it's so cool to have that kind of background to grow up in that. And then also I can just speak to just the pricing is, I guess, I don't know. It's a big part of what keeps me going back. So, okay, let's say I'm somebody who's not really familiar with buying any kind of supplement. And let's say I walk into the Granary or a similar store for the first time, and I don't really know what I'm looking for. I just know that I've been dealing with this thing for a while and I want a more natural solution. And so let's pick, like, I have stomach discomfort and after I eat, I feel bloated. And so I walk in the door and then there's all these aisles and all these products. And I just feel like overwhelmed and frozen. And I want to turn around and run right back out the door. What can I do?
Right.
or what can I do ahead of time? What can I do there?
I mean, one of my biggest things I tell people is don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay. People are there to help you, but whether it's us, natural grocers, drug emporium, you know, we try to always have someone on staff that has been there a long time and understands everything. I mean, not everything, I should say, but they understand a lot. And so they can help you. But that's how we try to organize it. Specifically for us at the Granary, we have a whole herb aisle. So that's alphabetical if it's a single herb. But so if you know what you're looking for. But if you don't, then we try to categorize it. We have a digestion section. We have a joint section. We have a mineral section because the single minerals are alphabetical too. We try to do it. If it's a mixture, it goes in with what it's for, say like a issue. But if you are looking for a single product, like a single vitamin, a single mineral, or a single herb, then they're just alphabetical. And then we don't try to put brands together. A lot of companies do that. We put all brands together so you can decide. That's like our biggest thing is, hey, this one may be an extract where the other one is not. It's just like let's say ginger, because that would be helping with digestion, right? A lot of times you don't actually need a ginger extract. It's just the ground ginger or actually eating ginger that really helps with the bloating. But some more extreme cases, some gastrointestinal issues that are like chronic ones need ginger extract. So that can be the difference there. But my biggest thing is, like, when you walk into any health food store anywhere, always just ask for help, because I tell people we work there every day. You don't. So expect where everything is the first time you walk in there. I mean, there are 3,000 supplements at every single Granary. That's a lot. That's 3,000 different bottles. So, but we work there every day, so we can figure it out.
Okay. So once I narrow it down, let's say I do want to take ginger, and I think I'm going to go to the digestive system section or find it alphabetized on the shelves. if I'm comparing, like if there's 4 different kinds of ginger right there, are there things that I can look for on the label that can tell me, that can kind of help me evaluate what I'm going to need?
The biggest thing I look for is different milligrams, right? And first is it an extract or is it just ground ginger, right? That's number one, extract or not. And then is also, say it just says 300 milligrams of ginger, but I'm looking for 300 milligrams of ginger extract. That's two completely different things. They seem very similar, but the extract is way stronger in every single case. Like, let's take turmeric, right? They say that for turmeric, I just know this in particular is 95% or 95 times stronger by taking curcumin, which is the extract form of turmeric, than just taking ground turmeric itself. So that would be taking a whole seasoning bottle versus 2 capsules. That's a lot.
So the extract is stronger than just the plain plant form itself, and it's going to say extract on the bottle. So do I always want the stronger one, or are there some situations where I might want just the whole plant form?
That depends on the certain case. Like I said, for the gastrointestinal, like you said, if it's just bloating, then regular ginger by itself a lot of times will help it. But let's say you have IBS or what's another good one? Crohn's disease. That actually requires ginger extract. Will help a lot better than just regular ginger. Okay. So just it depends on what it is, and that's why help is always. That's why I'm big on, hey, ask for help. You know, we can figure it out together if not.
Gotcha. When you're looking at all the products available in the world and trying to decide what you want to buy to offer on the shelves, what signals a quality product to you?
Yeah, so we actually like to tour the facilities. Since my parents have been around since 91 doing this, and now the Granary ranks like top 10 in the whole country as far as buying power for independents. So like Natural Grocers or Sprouts, you know, that they're the big boys, right? But that's a publicly traded company. We're not, so we're private. So us, a Drug Emporium would be top 10 also. So it's funny that both us and Drug Emporium are both headquartered in East Texas. They're from Longview. You could say ours is Tyler or Longview. You could go either route. And but both are like top 10 in the country for every single supplement company and food supplier. But it's just funny that East Texas offers both of those, where most of the time the others are like California or a chain. There's a big chain in Florida, but they don't have competition. It's just them. Anyway, so that's a different thing. But anyway, we really try to vet who we have at the store. If we can't trust a product, we don't stock it. I mean, that's a big thing. There's a lot of brands. Every brand tries to sell to us, but honestly, we're not going to stock them if we don't trust them. That's our biggest thing. I mean, that's kind of trusting us too, that we actually do our job. Like let's say for instance, like Now Foods, right? There's a lot of like that go back and forth. So Now on their herbs in particular, not all are extracts. So people will compare that to a Solar Ray herb. So, but Now it's family owned since I think it's like 1930s, and so is Solar Ray. But it's still the Richard family still owns Now to this day, where every other like Solar Ray has been bought, I don't know, 5-6 times from the original. But Solar Ray is still a great brand. You can still go tour there. I actually toured their facility there last year again in July to watch like their extraction. They show you the whole thing. Solar Ray is a great brand that's been around since the 30s, but they're big on herbs. That's what started them, and that's what put them on the map was their herb line. So if we can't trust a brand, we don't stock it. Now there are other brands that we just don't stock that are good, like Gaia. I really like Gaia herbs. I think that's a great brand, but they do not give us the discount. If there's any time that you can get it cheaper online than buying from us, there's no point in us stocking it. That's how we look at it. Like, because if they're offering 30% every day as a sale and they give us 30% off, then we have to mark it up to get our margin. And so you're going to buy it. You're going to come buy it from us, get the advice from us first, and then you're going to buy it online. So it just depends on the brand. Because like I said, there's a lot of brands out there we don't carry, but we try to pick ones we trust that have great quality, that always score a high on the quality score.
So Now Brands and Solar Ray are both brands that you trust. And if it's not a brand that's been through your evaluation process to become a trusted brand, it's not going to be on the shelves.
100%. Yeah. No, if there's any chance like it could be genetically modified or something like that, or they put a lot of fillers in their capsules that are not natural or dyes, we do not stock them. We do not trust those brands, and we do not stock them. So I believe us and like Natural Grocers is big on that too. They're actually very good about, and we actually found a couple of brands because of them, because we were like, I'd never heard them before, but I was like, they sell a lot of this brand. And I was like, we should look into them. But that's just honestly it. We try to vet everybody. So
gotcha. Now
that doesn't mean somebody doesn't change their formula after a while. Most supplement companies really won't. I mean, they're pretty. It's really the food that's where we have to watch. A company gets bought. So many food companies get bought these days. You know, I mean, PepsiCo owns over 1,000 natural food companies. I mean, that just seems crazy to me. But General Mills, and so they don't do anything the first year, but then sometimes things happen after that. So we try to watch that. Like, oh, all of a sudden it doesn't say non-GMO on the label. You're like, so you call them, they're like, oh, well, we changed our sourcing. Yeah, that means now it's genetically modified because it's cheaper to get that.
Gradually, then suddenly.
Yep.
So what should people know about herbs and safety?
So a lot of times, I mean, you on the back of almost most bottles will actually tell you if they interfere with, especially the biggest thing is pregnancy, right? My wife is pregnant right now. So that's a big thing of knowing which herbs are safe and not. But blood pressure, I would say, is the number 2 on the back of bottles, and they will tell you. But we actually have a book that's called like herbal, what's it called? Herbal, I'm trying to think. And I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it, but basically it talks about between herbs and what they would interfere with. Herbal interactions, that's what it's called, herbal interactions. But you could Google, I mean, a lot of times actually Google will tell you like, hey, does this herb interfere with, say if you're on a certain type of medication. I honestly say to Google it just to be on the safe side. So a lot of herbs don't. A lot of herbs do not, but there are several. Blood pressure and pregnancy would be the 2 biggest things that are on the back of those bottles.
Okay, so check the label, Google.
Yeah.
And the top 2 reasons that you might need to be concerned, or the most common ones, might be pregnancy and blood pressure issues.
Yeah, that would be the most common, because there's so many people that are on blood pressure medications nowadays. So because there's several that will actually lower your blood pressure. So I mean, some people take them to wean off of the blood pressure. I mean, that's the whole point. So then obviously they would interfere with that. But there's sometimes like, I think one that comes to mind is licorice root, right? You normally take that for digestion, but it actually lowers your blood pressure also. So does olive leaf. So it's not something, it's just like, I don't know if you would call that a side effect. It's kind of more of like a bonus, right? So, but if you're on blood pressure medication, it's advised do not take that, understandably.
What about storage and shelf life for stuff that people might buy at the store?
The biggest thing is don't let things get hot. That's the biggest thing, especially during the summer. You don't really want to leave, especially herbs, like out in your car. I mean, that can definitely dry them. If you're going to go go on more shopping trips, we advise, kind of put them either like underneath your seat or take them in your purse into another store, or just take them home. I mean, I'm not saying they have to be refrigerated. I mean, a lot of probiotics have to be refrigerated, but herbs in particular, vitamins are not good when they get really hot. So when it's over 100 degrees out, that is not good.
Do you have any stories to share about how specific herbs were supportive for specific symptoms?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest ones would be curcumin, right? So turmeric is the herb, right? And curcumin is the Latin name for turmeric. So that's why they put curcumin, and a lot of companies now are putting turmeric curcumin on their bottle. But I know so many people that have come in that have arthritis. That's like the number one thing. joint pain, back pain. Turmeric, I mean, we sell a ton of turmeric and curcumin specifically, I should say, because you want the turmeric extract in that case, because that's the part that really helps. So another one is mastic gum. That seems like a very odd herb. Very good for digestion. So IBS in particular, that is like the number one herb to take is mastic gum is highly recommended to help with the bloating and any issues. Ashwagandha. Okay, yeah. So you can do ashwagandha extract. That's a huge one now for any type of adrenal, thyroid. So stress. If you have stress, I know certain people that this is an extreme case, but like a thyroid storm, if you've ever heard of that, ashwagandha is one of the only herbs that will help regulate. Now you normally need minerals and amino acids to go along with it, so there's a few supplements that have both of those in there, like in our thyroid section, because iodine is the other big part that goes along, which is not an herb, that's actually a mineral, but iodine is really very key to regulating your thyroid, either going hypo or hyper. Actually, so iodine does both. It's one of the crazy things. Ashwagandha normally is only if it's hyperthyroidism. So but I know of two different ladies that they went through this thyroid storm that they couldn't figure out. Their doctors couldn't figure out anything, and they came in and we helped them try to find some stuff, and they were like, yeah, we heard of ashwagandha. I was like, well, just take it slowly and watch it. I mean, that's like the biggest thing, because herbs aren't like medication that start immediately, right? Mm-hmm. It's normally about 2 to 3 weeks is when you notice an herb really, it has to be in your system a while. Unlike medication. I mean, there are a few herbs like the ginger would help with bloating pretty much right away if you take it right when you're bloated. But ashwagandha or turmeric's got to be in your system for a minute, 2 to 3 weeks. And then, but both of them, they went from having complete exhaustion, both ladies, complete exhaustion to very alert. They were like, yeah, our doctors were, both times our doctors were just completely like, what did you do? You're like a completely different person than whenever you came in here. And like, yeah, we just started, trying to eat better, cleaner diet. I mean, that's a huge thing. No processed foods. I mean, both went on extremely clean diets to where nothing processed. Everything had to be cooked themselves. No going out to eat for weeks. Because I mean, you go through a thyroid storm, it like really takes your body completely down, completely exhausted, and you just feel exhausted all the time. And a lot of times you can't work, you can't do anything. You got to build back up. It's really hard. But both times the ashwagandha, the high strength ashwagandha really helped them. Like I said, I know of two particular cases that was like huge in taking that. But like I said, they also took their iodine, and they also took like their L-tyrosine. That was a big amino acid that really helps with balancing that. I mean, we could go on and on of like different things every day, but that would be a short example. Those would be short examples.
No, those
people
are
come
good
in
ones.
every day. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
For the thyroid and the digestive health, I think that covers probably a huge segment of the population that wants to know more about those.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate you being here today. If people want to know more about you or about Granary's offerings, where can they go?
Just Google us. We actually don't have a website. We're pretty old school. My dad doesn't even have a cell phone, so that's as old school as we get. That's why if you go to the Granary, you don't see all the fluff and all the stuff. But we have Google accounts for all of our stores. But we're open 10 to 6 Monday through Friday. Like I said, close weekends before. We try to keep real simple hours, and that way we keep the best staff, and we can really help people whenever they come in. But like I said, when you come in, it's definitely very overwhelming. I mean, any store you go to, you're going to see over 3,000 products from us, Natural Grocers, Sprouts, and you can be like, oh, what do I do? Don't be afraid to ask for help. On whatever store you're at, that's my biggest advice. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what the people are there for. So But yeah, it's really easy to find us. But we're located in, let's see, Texarkana, Longview, 2 in Tyler, Lindale, Nacogdoches, Conroe, Huntsville, and then we have 3 sister stores over in Dallas called Herb Mart, and so that's in Plano, Mesquite, and Terrell. So that's all 11 locations, and we're very blessed and very glad that we're here to help support the community.
Yeah, no, they really are great and always so helpful. And I'm not affiliated with them at all. If you're listening, I just use them and I recommend them. And so anyway, y'all check them out. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, The Grace Rooted Herbalist, or online at gracerootedherbalist.com. See you again next time. Bye.